It's the week of March 9th, 2021. My name is Jaden.
And I am Aubrey. Welcome to your Ruth Fisher News.
A couple weeks ago, Jasmine Harrison became the youngest woman to row alone across the ocean. It took the 21-year-old swimming teacher just over 70 days to row across the Atlantic Ocean. Miss Harrison, who's from England, didn't have loads of experience in rowing long distances. She got the idea 3 years earlier when she happened to be in Antigua and saw the end of the 2017 Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge. "I just thought I wanted to do this, so I'm going to do it," she said. Every day, Miss Harrison would row for about 12 hours, pushing her 550-pound boat across the ocean. On average, she rowed about 20,000 strokes a day, covering roughly 60 miles. She accidentally dropped her speaker in the middle of the ocean, so she had to finish her trip with no music, but she met a lot of sea animal friends along the way.
It is March, and here in Arizona, that means one thing: spring training baseball. Last week marked the first time since March 12th of last year that Major League Baseball has allowed in-person fans at their games. While it may look a little different and the stadium isn't packed, players mentioned that they have loved having fans back in seats, even if it is reduced capacity. If you are going to attend a spring training baseball game, some things will look a little different. Seating on the grass is only allowed in certain pre-marked areas. Masks must be worn except while eating or drinking. And stadiums are only allowed limited seats. Even with all of that, baseball fans are extremely happy to be back at the ballpark. Now let's go over to Mr. Dobesh with the weekly update.
Welcome back, students. Glad you're back in person. Couple announcements coming up this week. We have parent-teacher conferences on Thursday and Friday. So make sure you're well behaved, otherwise your parents will not have good conferences. We also have 2 early release days on Thursday and Friday. We release at 12:15. It is the start of 4th quarter today. Get off to a good start. Do your work, follow directions, and always do your best. Make it a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Dobesh. Now let's go to Marzetta with sports news.
Welcome to sports. My name is Marzetta. Let's get right to the biggest announcement this year in Arizona sports news. Former Houston Texian J.J. Watt is coming to Arizona Cardinals. He signed a 2-year contract worth $30 million. This is a huge news for the Cardinals and will add some much needed talents to the defense. The Arizona Coyotes have lost 2 games in a row to the Colorado Avalanche. They are now 9-3. It is possible that they may be looking to trade off their key players before the deadline in hopes of getting some high draft picks. The Suns keep playing some good basketball. Devin Booker scored 43 points against the Timberwolves in 118-99 wins. They are now 22-11. The Diamondbacks split their first 2 games of spring training, beating the Rockies but then losing to the Brewers. See you next time on the Sport News.
Thank you, Marzetta. Now here's Gabriel with entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. I'm Gabriel. When people think of Phoenix, they typically don't think about gardens and green plants. But springtime in Phoenix is a great time to see desert plant life in bloom. There is no better place to see thousands of plants from hundreds of species than the Desert Botanical Gardens by the Phoenix Zoo. Not only is it a great place to see these plants, but for select days in March you can actually go and buy unique species of cactus, succulents, and other desert plants right there at the gardens. From March 19th through the 28th, You can go and look through the plants for sale. You must reserve your tickets online, but they are free. Experts will be on hand to teach you how to properly care for your new plants as well. If buying plants is not what you want, you can purchase tickets to explore the gardens at your own pace. See you next time with more entertainment news.
Thank you, Gabriel. Let's go to Joaquin and Reese with Fun Fact Trivia.
Welcome to Fun Fact Trivia. My name is Reese.
And I am Joaquin.
March 9th is the National Barbie Day. It is celebrated on March 9th because that's the day the first Barbie was released to the public. Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts, and the Ruth Handler created the doll.
Barbie's first marketing strategy relied almost completely on television advertising. For example, Barbie was the sole sponsor of the Mickey Mouse Club, marketing directly to children. It was a unique approach for the time. Estimates place over 1 billion Barbie dolls have been sold worldwide in over 150 countries. Today's question is, what year was the first Barbie doll released?
A. 1955
B. 1959.
or C. 1964.
You have 10 seconds to make your decision.
If you said B. 1959, you are correct. The modern Barbie offers positive role models in business, science, education, and more.
In 1998, the Toy Hall of Fame inducted Barbie into its hallowed halls. See you next week on Fun Fact Trivia.
Thanks, guys. Now let's go back to Gabriel with This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History. My name is Gabriel. On this day of March 9th, 1981, a nuclear accident at Japan Atomic Power Company plant in Soroga, Japan exposed 59 workers to radiation. The officials in charge failed to inform the public and nearby residents, endangering them. Tasuraga lies near Wakase Bay on the west coast of Japan. Approximately 60,000 people lived in the area surrounding the atomic power plant. On March 9th, a worker forgot to shut a critical valve, causing a radioactive sludge tank to overflow. 56 workers were sent in to mop up the radioactive sludge before the leak could escape the disposal building, but the plan was not successful, and 16 tons of waste spilled into Wakase Bay. Despite the obvious risk to people eating contaminated fish caught in the bay, Japan's Atomic Power Commission made no public mention of the accident or spill. This is all for This Week in History.
Thanks, Gabriel. Let's go to Science Time with Joaquin and Marzetta.
Welcome to Science Time. My name is Marzetta.
And I am Joaquin. Car makers around the world are being forced to make fewer cars because they can't get enough computer parts. Several factories have been closed temporarily as the result. The problem is expected to continue for several months. When you imagine car parts, you might not think of computers.
But tiny computers called microprocessors are incredibly important in modern cars. As cars have gotten fancier, these microprocessors, commonly known as chips, have been added to control many different parts of a car. Modern cars may have as many as 150 microprocessors. Chips control all sorts of things, from how the fuel goes into the engine to the way the car brakes, as well as controlling dozens of other systems. These days, checking a car's computer system might be the first step a mechanic takes to figure out what's wrong with the car.
Last year, as places around the world went into lockdown because of the coronavirus, many car makers had to close their factories. Since they weren't making cars, they canceled many of their orders with chip makers.
See you next time with more Science Time.
Thanks, guys. Now let's go over to Reese with Word of the Week.
Welcome to Word of the Week. My name is Reese. This week's word is obtain. Obtain is a verb and it means to get, acquire, or secure something. Here is how you can use it in a sentence. My homework was to write a biography about someone famous, so my dad took me to the library to obtain some information about that. Is all for the Word of the Week. See you next time.
Thank you, Reese.
Have a great spring break. See you back here on the 23rd of March.
That's all for this episode of Ruth Fisher News.
See you next time.
Go Colts!